スター逃げろ。誰でも音できる、誰でもスキルを稼げる、ガバナンスまである。超集権のメディアはもう終わりだ。
真相から立ち上るインクと真実がぶつかる。レバヤさんニュース開かれ海嘘はない。読んで書いて氷結しろ。力はみんなのもの。イカスミをたたえろ。ニュースは君のものだ。レバヤさんニュース。レバヤさんニュース。
What's up, everyone? DAdvisoor
How's it
here,
going?
Leviathan News, and I'm actually very excited for this one with these two esteemed gentlemen. Let me even try to do something with my hair. First of all, guys, thank you so much for joining. For those of you who aren't familiar, somehow I have the esteemed Jedi and Benjamin that are basically the OGs of OGs, but I let them also do a kind of intro because it's actually been a while since I've had them on, and it's the first time I'm having both of them on at the same time for a show.
Yeah.
Big honor for me. We're here to talk about Alto, the new version of what used to be Tapioca. So first of all, guys, how are you? What's up?
Doing great. Yeah, I mean, we've been busy behind the scenes cooking ever since. It just hasn't stopped. For those that recall Tapioca, there was a hack, and then we had to kind of rebuild the entire protocol from the ground up, and we got to work, and we put in the work. And it's been a long road, but we did launch back in December, and we've been continuously shipping new markets and stuff. And for those that don't know, it's a borrowing and lending protocol. And
we'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Okay. Yeah.
For sure. Because I do want to know. I actually think it's very good that you give this framing, but I would want to do it a little bit in a more elaborate way, just in a minute. Jedi, how are you, sir? Nice to have you on. What an addition to the Alto team and the community over there. Much respect.
Yeah, thank you. And thanks for the intro. I love the intro on the Leviathan news, by the way. I think
Thank
it's
you
awesome.
so much. It's actually someone called Arcus. Have you heard about him? He's a llama, Arqus.
Yes, I know.
Ever since he's done that video, basically every guest almost is complimenting the new.
It's awesome, man.
Video.
Kind of makes you feel right at home, and just joined the Alto team from a kind of a risk management content perspective, and just also having been part of the Tapioca journey right from the start as an investor, and then obviously just being devastated when obviously the hack happened, and all the potential in the project. And I've been aware that the guys have been cooking, and it's been nice to come in and just help out and give a little bit of perspective, and then also get some perspective around what it is that's going on. And I think it's taking the best that DeFi has to offer and cooking it all up into one protocol. I think that's what's happening at the moment, and hopefully the end result at some point will be exactly that.
Very nice, and I like that description a lot, actually. Before we really dive into it, let me present this week's SQUID Pass winners. By the way, do you guys know what a SQUID Pass is? The auctions, are you familiar with it? We have this system.
No,
We have this
not.
system that we auction the ad slots on the pinned posts on our Telegram channel and the X account, and also shout outs on the live streams. And
Nice.
current winner from yesterday is is a project that has won it for the first time actually. So let me just present them on screen a bit and give them the shout out. What was that? Just a second. This is not the button I intended to click. It's called Ratehopper. It's a new AI service. Let me pop it up here. All right. Ratehopper, refinance DeFi debt with AI, hop to better rates instantly. You can check them out at ratehopper.ai. That's Ratehopper with a double P. For those of you who aren't native English speakers, .ai. You can also, of course, follow them on their X account. Should be seen on screen now as well. Ratehopper AI, the first refinancing protocol for DeFi borrowing markets, built on base by the team that worked on APY vision. Shout out Tom and the guys. Thank you so much for choosing Leviathan News, and let's check Ratehopper and our pinned post to take a look at their message. Thanks a lot, guys. And okay, Benjamin, let me start with you, actually.
Sure thing.
Give us that intro that I interrupted you in giving just a few moments ago. But again, take us
Sure
for
thing.
the moment that basically, like for those who don't know, basically, again, you were a part of the Tapioca project.
Yeah.
Back then, it was actually a very much anticipated product by many, including myself, I must admit. I think you guys also had one of the best podcasts out there, which was a pleasure to watch and listen to every week, basically. And I must say, like, I was surprised when things didn't really work out. And the hack came. Although I must say that at least one individual, I will not name any names, told me that, man, this is not likely that it's gonna work. Like, and I was like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know that. But he was like, listen, man, I'm telling you. And this is someone I really respect. Okay. And I was like, okay, man, you know, we never know. Pretty shortly after that, maybe a month, 2 or 3, I'm not sure, the hack was there, and I was like, okay, yeah, he told me, but and I must say, like, forget about like the few dollars that I had there as an investor. It was personal in a way that, like, you know, I really like you guys. You know what I mean? Like, I really like you guys. I like the show. I really felt a part of the community. It was one of the few projects that really, like, I had this, like, a sense of community about. So please give us, like, your version, like, from how did it actually go, what actually happened, and and how did you bounce back to all of a sudden, I think less than a year after, but correct me if I'm wrong, to you know, to have like a fresh start with a new project. It's remarkable, I must say.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a little over a year, but like it was tough, to be honest. Like I think it sent all of us kind of reeling for a bit, and like we had to really dig deep, I think, as a protocol to get past all the issues we had. But we kind of reorganized things from like a, you know, managerial perspective, and we you know, got to work, and it took a long time. We had to kind of rebuild the entire protocol, and had to strip some stuff down and kind of figure out, like, what is the core product here that we really want to to create. But I think when we came out the other side, I mean, we have a working borrowing and lending protocol with strategies, and like, I mean, the project was always one that was very ambitious, I guess, and some would say it was almost overly ambitious from the start, because we were trying to build several protocols all at once. And I still think that what we created is like 2 or 3 different protocols, and it's you know, been nice to see it actually get out into the wild. And we've been continuously shipping like new strategies and new assets, and we added Jedi to the team here, and you know, he's come in and kind of give us some fresh takes and fresh like energy that I think we needed after the long grind of getting this thing up off the ground again. Because there were a lot of people that were doubters, that were like, you know, this is done. They're never going to ship anything. And, you know, here we are.
Yeah, I'm actually convinced that many people said that it's a done deal. And I definitely agree that, like, you know, the vision was huge of Tapioca, and
Yeah.
it wasn't like just from you guys. Like, I think that also some of the like early investors and people that like were in the community, they kept really mentioning that okay, Tapioca is not about to be just another protocol. And how is like, take us through the difference, either you or Jedi, I don't really mind. What's different, like, from this evolution from Tapioca to Alto? Like, what did you bring over to Alto? Because I'm sure it's a pretty linear version of the project.
Yeah, so like one of the big aspects of Tapioca that was the cross chain aspect of it, and the idea was, and like at the time, like everything was all about cross chain and like layer 2s and like all of that. And basically, when we started deciding how to rebuild this thing, we decided that, like, you know, at the time it was like getting cheaper and cheaper to operate on mainnet, and we kind of made the decision, you know, let's not do this on Arbitrum. Let's do it on ETH, on mainnet. And I think that was a good one, honestly, because it's I think that's where things are headed at this point. I'm not entirely convinced that layer 2s have as much of a future as it seemed like they did when we were making Tapioca. I think, you know, other than that, like, and the cross-chain aspects of it, like DUSD is still a cross-chain asset. We just, you know, we've left that to be built later, sort of a thing. We haven't built that part out. We were like, let's get this protocol, let's get a base protocol created on mainnet, and then, you know, but the ideas kind of have been, you know, baked into the back end of this thing so that we can continue to innovate. And like, I think that one thing this group has is, you know, the ability to come up with novel and implementations of DeFi. Executing part, like before, I think with Tapioca, we were putting the cart before the horse. We had, you know, 10 pounds of ideas in a 2-pound execution sack, and now we're trying to, you know, make sure that our ability to execute, you know, our ideas can fit inside there. So, you know, I think that's kind of been one of the philosophical changes that have been made.
I definitely agree with that approach. I think that, back then, cross-chain seemed to be like a crucial aspect of protocols, at least from our angles, I guess. And nowadays, it seems like, is it? What do you
Yeah,
think about it,
I
Jedi?
I think what I think is happening at the moment, which maybe we're not that aware of, is that the whole idea of omnichain is becoming the norm to the extent that we're not even thinking about this whole idea of bridging the way that we did even 2 years ago. So I think just when we look at particularly with Alto, I think what's unique about where we're going in this space is that I don't quite agree with Ben on kind of like whether L2s will be relevant or not. I think there will be relevance in L2s for custom functionality on a blockchain. I think Hyperliquid is a very good example of how you have a protocol that is built on a blockchain or a blockchain that facilitates a protocol. And I think we'll see more of that kind of thing. But then, where does the settlement actually happen? It happens, well, in this case, it happens on Ethereum. I do agree with Ben that Ethereum is practically going to land up being kind of like the king of the pile. I mean, we've seen that now with, where the market is moving, particularly from an institutional perspective. Institutions are here and they are very particular about what it is that they want, and security is obviously one of them. And then obviously opportunity and, the cost of that opportunity. And I think Ethereum, ticks those boxes for the most part. So to answer your question, I think, with Layer 0, and I mean, Layer 0 was always going to land up being a part of Alto. I mean, part of Tapioca, now Alto as a constant anyway. So from an omni-chain perspective, Layer 0, I think, has solved that so-called problem where it becomes like the norm. I mean, we see people moving in and out of particularly perps, dexes and dexes at the moment, where you don't even realize that you're moving from one chain to another. And I think it's going to land up being a one-click feature going into the future even more so. So I think cross-chain is relevant. We're just not aware that it's happening, and I think it will continue to be relevant. And yeah, I think that's where we're going, and it sure seems like that's where we're going.
Nice. How do you guys see? Sorry. Okay, I'll ask it differently. Why is Alto needed? Like, in a world with so many products, protocols, money markets, stable coins, what's different about Alto? What kind of new message does it bring? Why is it important? And what's unique about Alto?
So I want to answer the first part
ahead.
to this question, and then I'll let Ben do the more technical side of it. I think for me, and one of the reasons why I wanted to come in and help out and get involved with Alto is that we've got this scenario where most protocols have kind of like a value proposition, and the value proposition almost always lands up going to a token that essentially extracts at some point, in the life cycle of this thing. And what made Tapioca unique and what makes Alto even more unique now, and it's something that's actually even more enhanced now, is how does the protocol actually give value back to its users and to its stakers? And I think that's where the interesting part about this thing lies, and where the experiment really gets interesting, is that if you have protocol earnings, for example, so money's coming in, protocol's earning fees, where do those fees actually go? The majority of times they get banked, and the protocol owners benefit from that, and maybe some of it gets passed down to the users. The whole idea behind Alto is to actually take 100% of those fees and to actually direct them back to the stakeholders. And then there's a whole lot of mechanisms around how do we capture value for the protocol from a liquidity perspective. And I'll let Ben get into the details of that. But essentially, what is a great value proposition here is that you've got a flywheel which retains the value within the ecosystem and the protocol, of which the users then essentially become shareholders, and they land up benefiting from this thing. And then when there are so-called emissions, the emissions aren't, well, here's your reward, here's tokens, go and sell them. The whole idea is to give you the option to buy tokens as a reward, and you get a discount on those tokens, which you can purchase or you can give them up. But if you purchase them, then you land up earning revenue from the protocol itself. And the great thing is that you're buying those tokens at a discount because it's an option. So I'll let Ben kind of get into the detail around that. I don't see him. Is he gone?
Ben seems to have been like I do see him on the screen. Ben, if you hear us, maybe you can try to reconnect, because it looks like your video is loading. But I think it was a great answer, Jedi. I was just about to say to Ben that, okay, I think I understand why he brought you on there. I think you've always been like a very good communicator, and also very good at like simplifying things. And I do agree that, in a world where so many different projects provide, lending services, borrowing services, and all that kind of stuff, swapping, whatever, it really is about like other aspects of getting into the users' hearts and wallets, and a key feature actually becomes, okay, who's going to be not as extractive as the others? Who's going to actually give back? I have an alarm here, Jedi, so I'll just put you up on screen and just, preach the Tapioca, the Alto, preach as much as you can. Hopefully I'll be back in a few minutes, but you're a podcaster, you can do it.
Yeah, I mean, just from a, I think what's really unique about what Alto's achieved is that, there was a whole lot of money that was raised, a whole lot of investors kind of like sitting in the wings, of which I'm one of them, and there's a lot of good friends out there that are still in the situation where it's like, when is there going to be a TGE? What does the future hold for Alto? And I think what's really unique about what's happened is that it's very seldom that you get a hack and, a lot of the time guys walk away. Like say, well, you know what, we gave this thing a shot, and they walk away and, they either refund the money. I mean, I know quite a few protocols that have done that in the past, good people who, kind of like, step back and kind of put their hands up and say, listen, we need to actually just give what money we've got back. And then a lot of the time guys just walk away with the money. They just kind of like slow rug the whole thing. And I think what's really cool about what's happened at Alto is that the guys really like committed to this promise of building something, and they put their heads down and have come up with, like Ben was saying early on, a number of markets that essentially deliver on what that promise was. And I mean, I think that in itself is commendable. And it was one of the reasons why I wanted to come and help out. I mean, it wasn't like, well, I'm going to get my money back. For me, that wasn't about, trying to put my skin in this game to try and get money back on my investment. I was really impressed with, this whole philosophy of, well, we refuse to just roll over and die. Let's build this thing and deliver. And I think what's been really cool about it is, I think going forward now, it's just, for those of you who are wondering, like, what's actually going to happen? Like, is this, effectively like a slow rug and the rest of it? And from my perspective, it categorically isn't. I think right now it's about finding the product market fit. obviously launching these different markets. I mean, if you follow our Twitter account, you'll get a good indication as to, what the guys have built and what they've put out there. And yeah, it's slow going. People haven't shown a lot of interest. So it's by no means like this rosy outcome in terms of participation. But right now, just for a little bit of alpha, for those of you who are listening, there's rewards there that, are up for the taking. And if you actually go and mint some DUSD and stake whatever collateral that we have on offer, you can earn some really, really good rewards. So the window for that is closing. I don't have any information at this point in time with regards to, when we will have a TGE and when that will play out. But I think it's obviously on the cards. It's not something that's going to be kind of left alone. And there is still that commitment to the investors to actually do something around that. But we want to get more markets out. We want to make sure that, everything has been taken care of from, the protocol side of things. And we're getting there. In terms of timelines, I honestly don't know what that looks like because I'm not privy to that information. But I do know that there is a commitment from the team to get a TGE out there. So, I mean, at the moment, like I was saying earlier on, there's a lot of opportunity around those pairs and, what that looks like and, what kind of rewards you can get. There's some great interest rates. We've introduced PAX-G, which is obviously gold, which, has become quite popular. Obviously, there's good collateral base. So the strategy from Alto's perspective has been, let's find, good collateral base, safer options around, the market. Obviously, yields aren't great, but yields aren't great anywhere in DeFi at the moment. But they're definitely much safer options. Then we did, obviously, Syrup. Syrup has been super popular over the last couple of months. And yeah, I think it's now just coming in with better collateral pairs, more opportunities. The guys have been looking at Pendle, and there's obviously like plenty of opportunities there. We had the introduction of Rocket Pool, ETH. Actually did a podcast with the guys last week, which is pretty cool. So yeah, I mean, I think the message right now is that there's a whole lot of cooking going on, and the commitment around obviously providing, good opportunity is definitely on the cards. And I do believe that Ben is back. I have absolutely no idea how to use this this app, so I'm going to just ping DeFiAdvisoor and see where he's at whilst I sit on my own here, which is quite weird. For those of you who don't know, he's in Israel, and obviously one of the alarms actually went off. And yeah, it's just one of those things, I suppose. So DA, you're on, dude. Do you want to come back here and get Ben on screen? Because I don't have any powers here. It's so weird being on a stream and not being able to do anything. Normally very much in the opposite situation.
I'm here. Now I'm here.
Cool. Ben's apparently back. I don't see him.
Yeah, because you didn't have access to it. I think we have back.
All right, I'm back. Sorry about
brilliant work holding the stream, sir. I only heard like parts of it, but because I was in the other room. But I'm already looking forward to watch it in repeat. I'm sure that there were great moments over there. And thank you for understanding the situation and all. Ben, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I mean, I also I had connection issues, so I don't know what all you guys covered while I was gone, but I don't know. Give me a prompt there, Jedi, and of
Yeah,
what you.
so I think from my side, I was just basically just looking at things from a historical perspective in terms of, where was Tapioca, where's Alto now, and what is the motivation around Alto? And I obviously spoke a bit about TGE because I know there's a lot of people that are sitting and wondering about it. And I mean, I know that you also don't know this, but we don't know when there's going to be a TGE. But the intention is that there will be. There is a commitment to doing it. We just want to get this product market fit done in the correct way. And just we've come this far. This thing has come this far. Whether you've been a community member, and I know that there's a lot of people that have been patiently waiting. There's a lot of people that have been very critical, and rightfully so. And I don't blame anybody for all intents and purposes. But I think just to summarize and finish off, where there's a whole lot of cooking going on. There's a whole lot of opportunities that are being looked at. Guys are not just sitting back and taking a paycheck. Trust me on this. I've been privy to a lot of stuff that's been happening, and I can guarantee you there's a serious amount of work going on at the moment.
Yeah, and I think it's important to recognize that like what we've built here is just a framework. It's a framework for building the rest of the vision, right? Like we've gotten kind of the outline of what we want, but now we have something to build on. And I think that now it gives us the ability to start actually putting these tools together and creating some of the ideas that were out there from the very start about like, I mean, we talked about so many different things in the previous instance of like things that we wanted to accomplish. And the problem was when you're trying to build all of it at once into one, overly complicated protocol, you're going to have execution issues. But this way we can kind of just continuously roll stuff out as these ideas and opportunities present themselves. And I think that is going to be a game changer because we will be able to have a framework to build on, and we will be able to take some of these ideas from the idea phase into an actual product phase relatively quickly. Like one of the ideas we're working on is being able to have a tool that like automatically allocates your DUSD that you put in to different areas of the borrow markets based on what the like rates are. And so you'll be able to put DUSD into the borrow market. It will auto allocate to whichever market is offering the best yield. And I think that there's just so many little things like that. Like that was an idea that just like came to us weeks ago, and we're already working on getting that thing out the door. And so it's having this base product that we can just continue to build on, I think is going to be awesome.
I think
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think also what's really interesting about, I mean, it's almost like there is like this modular approach. And the other thing that, yes, Fagoj, dude, it's good to hear from you.
It is. I meant to say that.
Yeah. And yeah, I think what's also really like interesting about and the way that this protocol's been built is that, and just to kind of highlight the progressive nature of this dev team is that if you look at Aave version 4 right now, right? Aave version 4 is, in all intents and purposes, being identified as a hub and spoke model where you're essentially isolating markets so that you don't get cross-contamination in the event that something happens in a particular liquidity pool with a particular pair or even like a single asset, right? So the whole idea is to keep things isolated Yes, there is going to be a connection with stable coins, with different pools and the rest of it. But if you got a collateral base that goes south for whatever reason, it's isolated. Alto was built from the ground up to actually have that architecture in place. And I think that's once again kind of like, if I may shill this protocol and its ability, it's kind of like progressive thinking for what is required in the context of DeFi. And Alto got that right. And I think there needs to be credit given where it is due around stuff that now Aave is doing after the fact. And I think there's a number of other things that are currently in motion that will end up distinguishing Alto once again in the future. And it's just stuff that is simplifying. It's simplifying, like, for example, you can go and check the dashboard at the moment where you can see the different strategies. You can see like what the loops within those strategies look like. What is the delivery from a yield perspective, and what are the risks? The other thing that's really, really cool about the way that Alto works on its mechanics is that you don't get complete and utter liquidations like a lot of protocols do out there. You get partial liquidations. The whole idea here isn't to be predators on users. It's about facilitating process, because a dead user is of no use to a protocol with a user that's actually being partially liquidated and can actually survive and come back to fight another day. So the philosophy around what Alto's done, I believe, is sound, and it's centered around what I believe to be a true DeFi ethos. And that is that it's about a collaboration between users and businesses to actually give us this, self-sovereignty and the ability to actually travel financially through this world without firstly like getting wrecked at every opportunity. I mean, that's up to you, obviously, but from a protocol side. And then being able to take that technology and then apply it not only on ETH, but obviously to other chains and to other instances, which obviously Alto will get to.
First of all, Ben, I know that we might be off like your time as well. So if you need to drop, feel free.
No, I'm good.
Okay, great. Even better. Tell me a bit about like what's the situation now at Alto? Like how many people or addresses are using it? How big is the protocol? How is it still like, because in a way I kind of sensed that. I must say I didn't even know up until like a month ago that you guys have already relaunched. Okay. So
I guess what I'll say about that is like, that was sort of intentional. Like from a protocol perspective, the core team that was left after the hack basically made a conscious decision that we had done in the previous regime. We had done too much of not over-promising and under-delivering on stuff, and that the best way to address that would be just ship the product, then worry about getting people to come try it. Like we wanted to make sure that we had a strong working product before we went full bore with the marketing. And that's why we're here now, is because we do feel like we've gotten that strong core product, and we want to kind of debut this thing for people that didn't follow us for the rest of, for the entire journey, or maybe lost track of what was going on with the project, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it definitely does. Is it like for you guys, is it still like mostly being in stealth mode in a way though? Or is it a kind of like, I don't know, maybe a fear to call it, like trying to remain under the radar? Because do you know what I mean? Like, because often like when a project actually launches, it seems like they try to make a lot of noise. And like maybe it's only my perception, but in a way I kind of feel like that you guys are kind of still want to stay under the radar and not
No, I mean that's
Obviously,
that's
you
why
are
we're-
here, so it's not exactly the case. But
yeah, I mean
again,
that's why
it's
we're
only
here.
here. Yeah.
Is that but we wanted to get to this place where we felt that if we were going to advertise this thing and we were going to market this thing hard, we want to make sure that it is everything we set out to make, that we've worked the kinks out, and that it was something we were going to be proud to present. And I think we're there, and that's why we're here, and so we brought Jedi on for the sole purpose of like helping to get the word out and try to spread the word about everything we made here. So
I think that decision is already proving to be worthwhile with how we held the stream here. Jedi, any thoughts?
the thing is, the fact that we are on Leviathan is, I think, testimony to exactly that. So I'll take the compliment, thank you very much, and I'll throw it right back at you. I think Leviathan's always been kind of like the rational voice in the space, especially from a DeFi perspective. I mean, obviously you guys put out some great news and the rest of it, but I think the core ethos of what DeFi is, I think, still resides in a number of publications out there. And I think you guys obviously still very much hold that in essence. So I think it was a natural thing for us to be able to come and join you and chat to you. I mean, dude, you've been relentless on the DeFi side of things. You haven't stopped for years, whereas like we've had like, like, I must admit, I think the last 18 months, like I've really been disillusioned with DeFi and just been kind of like quite despondent about it, because I didn't really recognize kind of the importance of the institutional side of things, real world assets. And I mean, you guys obviously have seen that and you've been relentless around it. And then you've also carved out like these great kind of like incentives around SQUID and the rest of it. And I'll be sure to send you an invoice on the shill. But yeah, you guys are DeFi in my eyes, and it's absolutely great that you were willing to host us. So thanks for that.
Thank you so much for the kind word, Jedi. It actually means really a lot coming from you.
It's a pleasure, dude.
Much respect. And I have to keep my 5 followers satisfied. They're watching for a reason. I must say that with you guys, actually, a few people are actually watching the show on YouTube, which is not that common. Like almost YouTube, at least online. Let's say it this way. There is a little more people watching YouTube right now than usual, because I actually think that you guys do have a name for yourself, like you were in our circles, in our tiny niche and circles, you guys actually, like Tapioca was something. You know what I mean?
I think that's something that both Jedi and I and the team that we built here have in common, and that's just realizing that a lot of people treat DeFi like it's just a one-time thing. You try to get in, you get your money, you get out, and it's like, I think that if you treat this space more like an infinite game where you have to keep showing up consistently or people won't trust you, that's how you come back from a hack like this without just giving up. That's how you, build trust in this space, because there's so little of it, and you've got to work really hard to try to maintain that.
Yeah, I actually think that that's a great point as well. It's actually true on so many levels. Like it's true on the protocol level with the products and services themselves. It's true about content making about these products. It's basically true all around. Sorry?
There are certainly a lot of opportunities in this space to lose your integrity, and I think the people that actually kind of try and actually maintain that are rare, and you've got to really work to deliver for people. So
yeah, I can also as years pass by, I actually can relate more and more to that aspect as well. And I actually think that for me personally and for us at Leviathan, I think really a lot of what assisted us in staying is the fact that we really are like nerds who care about all this stablecoin stuff, and we were always very, even before realizing it, I think in a way, we were so stablecoin centric in a way. Like we were so fascinated by these new financial markets. Like we're not really traders, basically, is what I'm trying to say. I think most of the media done around the space, and in general, like a lot of stuff and even apps, they're mostly like trading oriented, and it often attracts individuals and communities who are mostly into this in and out, and let me make a fortune and get out tomorrow. But when you're an actual nerd and all these things are so cool in your opinion, oh my god, I can get a stable coin against my ETH. I can use it as collateral. I can't get enough of it.
Yeah. No, I think that intellectual curiosity part of this is so huge in maintaining, that constant curiosity about what's going on in this space, rather than trying to create new opportunities to farm your users or your followers for exit liquidity, or all the various things that take place where you get these pump and dump scams and all this other stuff. Like this is not something that this particular group is interested in. So
who would you guys say that Tapioca is that Alto is mostly for?
That it's
who are the users that Alto is after? A specific user, who should actually choose Alto? And
I mean, what we're trying to do here, and we have some strategies and stuff in our mint markets right now, where you can loop SUSDE in the mint market. It's 1.5% is the interest rate, and then so you get to capture the difference between the SUSDE yield and that 1.5, and you can loop it. The idea is to create something that has a natural product market fit, because it's just a good product, and that it's going to actually serve a need for people. So anybody who wants to do borrowing and lending in the DeFi space should take a look and compare our rates and our offerings against the bigger names that are out there.
I think the second part to this thing is that I think it's open season in terms of who the product is being built for. I think it's built for individuals who want to obviously park capital, and then also institutions. I mean, there are discussions with institutional players to provide liquidity and to obviously earn yields on that. So it's across the board. I mean, the whole idea was to build something that would cater for everybody. So it's not just for a particular group, whether it's degens or whales or whatever the case might be.
Yeah, actually, I tend to agree with you that with the open season metaphor, because I actually think that, and I've been talking in many interviews, this subject keeps coming up. DeFi is really maturing in a way that the interest in DeFi today is basically as the new financial layer, not necessarily as we're degens, we're going to make a lot of money, blah, blah, blah. It's much more institutional. I'm seeing it all around, you know, whether it's the protocols themselves, whether it's the conferences around them. How are you guys tackling that institutional approach? Are you proactively trying to onboard institutions and to try Alto? How do you approach that angle?
I mean, right now, we have several different, we have SUSDE, we have Syrup USDC. We have PAX-G as collaterals. These are assets that really, they are real world, financial assets. And so we are, because they have their own backing, right? Like PAX-G's gold. And, I think that that's just the start. And I think, just speaking more broadly, I know this isn't quite answering the question that you asked, but I think just more broadly, so much of a DeFi protocol success is dependent upon finding that one product market fit that just brings it all together. And I think that over the years, you've seen different protocols be able to pivot into different things. I remember when GMX first launched, they pivoted several times before they were even called GMX. And then they kind of found their way into the market that they were in. And sort of, I think that Alto is going to find that moment because now that we have the base protocol that we can build on, it allows us to lean into whatever the meta is at that particular time and to build that into our infrastructure. And it allows you to kind of get in while that meta is happening. Whereas if you're trying to predict the metas that are going to come 1 year, 2 years, 3 years down the road, that's a lot harder. But if you have a nimble team that's able to build things in real time as these metas are sort of developing, those product market fits are going to come. So I think, to get back to your question about the institutions and stuff, yeah, we're absolutely looking into basically any opportunity that we can find. We're scouring the digital world to find the best opportunities to give to our users constantly. So I think we're just plugging away, trying to keep shipping things that people will want to use.
How much money is currently locked within the system? How much? What the name of the stablecoin again is DUSD?
Yes.
Correct.
And so, what's the market cap of DUSD right now?
So right now, there's about 500K that's just currently locked right now. But we just added a new market last week. And I honestly think that there's some alpha in that SUSDE mint market because nobody, we launched it and people haven't actually been using it yet. But
I told them this earlier. I said, there's rewards there and no one's getting them. So
yeah. There's a lot of alpha, I think.
Do you guys maybe want to show it on screen, by the way? Any of you can maybe show it on screen?
I'm not at my PC, so I can't at the moment. I think Ben's traveling.
You have a brilliant camera there, though, Jedi.
Yeah, I've got a very expensive MacBook Pro. That's what it is.
Okay. Wow.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to. But the website is
Alto.money.
Let me
Alto.money.
Let me pop up the website myself.
Alto.money.
I think just going back to kind of the RWA side of things, I think it's a great question because I think that's where it's all going. It's well, not all of it, but I think a lot of it is the collateral base will be predominantly in the future around RWAs. Assets like gold and the rest of it. So yeah. So go into the app itself.
There's a button there for open app.
Actually, sorry, I pressed, I wanted to move because I also have that one already open as well. Just a second. You see how mature DeFi is? You have to approve stuff. You have to say that you want to do stuff. Okay, so this is the app itself at app.alto.money, and it opens automatically on the strategies page. Very cool logo, by the way, guys. So, okay, take me through it for a minute. What you can on the app.
You can thank Mom, the creator of the long necks. If you remember the NFT, the long necks.
Yeah, I do. It's classic.
Yeah.
I actually do want to get to the topic of the pearls if we will have some time, because I want to ask you guys about the Pearl Club as well. But let's start with the strategies first. So basically, you can just go to the app and then just choose a vault. I see. Okay, this is the.
So I mean, you'll notice there's the rewards. You see the rewards there, guys. Those rewards are up. They're up for grab every week. Maybe you should go and deposit some money. You might win some rewards.
The rewards are like Alto tokens?
Yes. Yeah.
But isn't it like the concept back then was that you get like a discount on the price of buying the Alto? Is it still the same thing?
Correct. Yeah. So Ben, tell them about it.
Have you explained it earlier yourself, Jedi? Or maybe
but I wanted Ben to actually go into that a little bit more detail, so I'll let him do that.
Yeah, go for it, Ben, because I actually think that this is a very interesting.
So I mean,
take us through it, because this is a very this actually was one of the things that made Tapioca very unique with that approach as well.
So you're talking about the reward options.
Yeah, but the fact that you don't just get the rewards, you get right. The reward options. I forgot what options are. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I mean, basically, the idea is that you will get, at least, you would get an option to buy the tokens from the protocol, rather than just getting the token itself, and you buy them obviously at a discount. And that allows you to make something relative to what the market rate is, but also the protocol actually gets to, secure some of that and use it as protocol-owned liquidity, which will then be used to create liquidity within these markets, or allocate it however is needed to best support the protocol, whether that be adding liquidity to the stablecoin, adding liquidity to the Alto token itself, or just investing within the various markets, or mystery fourth option. It could be any of those, and I think that's one of the things that makes this strategy just a lot more robust because I think so many protocols over the years initially just treated their token like garbage, and they just gave it away with no regard, and eventually what happens is your token just drops and drops and drops because you're not creating enough value or pulling back enough of that value in order to get a decent return on investment from that. And what happens is you slowly just, devalue your token and hope that you can grow the protocol enough to grow out of that. But a lot of protocols don't stick that landing. And so the idea is that we're trying to, get that, that money from the option into the protocol early so that we can use that to kind of leverage it into growing the protocol even further, because liquidity tends to beget more liquidity. You get the deeper the liquidity you have, the bigger whales can come in and use your protocol without depegging your stable. And so like liquidity is sort of a feature in and of itself that's important. So that's really the idea.
So right now, if I understand correctly, the token, why am I not okay now? The Alto token is not live yet, if I understand correctly.
That's correct. That's correct. The token is not live yet, but the rewards are kind of being kept track of.
So the reward, and again, like the rewards are actually like the fact that people will be able to purchase these Alto tokens at a discount.
Yes. Yep.
Correct. And I'm assuming it will only go live like whenever you guys are ready for it, and probably at the same time, all the tap owners, addresses who own the tap, will also be able to claim Alto against
Yes.
tap. How does it go?
So Dia, if you go to the Alto website, there is an option where it will tell you what or the amount of Alto that will be transferred to the original wallet that you were holding tap on.
This is in the TGE section, yes?
I think so, yes.
And from what I remember, my wallet is not connected there now, but like from what I remember, it was in a 1-to-1 ratio, like the same amount. The total amount of tap and the total amount of Alto will be the same. Yes.
Correct.
This is actually quite exciting. I'm definitely excited to claim some Alto. Any time that like you think people should expect this? Like, is it a matter of months? Is it this year? Is it the next year? How are you guys?
It's coming.
Because by the way, right now, like I'm sure sorry.
Yeah, it's coming. We don't have the exact date, but it'll be on the order of weeks to months, not years.
Because from what I remember, especially according to the ethos, I'm pretty sure that all revenue generated is supposed to go back to token holders, and like
Correct.
Some revenue is already hopefully and probably being generated. So how do you guys approach that? Because again,
right now it's
sorry.
At least currently, the revenue that's being generated is just going into the protocol on liquidity, but once we hit TGE, then that would be going into that as well. So
I actually think that it's going to be very interesting to watch. One more thing that I actually wanted to ask you guys about is the Pearl Club NFTs. It was such a great community actually. And I'm curious, is it going to have some kind of a use within Alto?
Unfortunately, we kind of had to cut clean of the whole Pearl Club ideas because we found that when we were trying to rebuild this thing, there were just too many constraints that had been placed on our ability to move forward. And that was just one that we had to sort of jettison in the conversion from going from the shell of what was Tapioca to Alto. That they did get invited on a whitelist to the early part of the protocol launch, but beyond that, there isn't really any further use for the pearls, unfortunately.
Became the classic collector's item, you say?
Yeah. Yep. I still got mine.
Yeah. I still have mine the same. Well, guys, at least it's a mark of being an OG. So enjoy that.
Absolutely.
Enjoy that for sure. sirs, I don't want to keep you too long. Really, thank you both for coming. And actually, I have all kinds of stuff I want to ask. But like, what should I have asked already and haven't? Anything else you want to add before we wrap it up? And hopefully, really hope to have you guys just back on as well as quickly as possible to give me some updates about what's going on and whatever. How's the growth going and all that kind of stuff. But again, what haven't I touched on that I probably should have? And like, what final message do you guys want to send the viewers?
I mean, I feel like we did a pretty good coverage of the protocol and what's going on. So I guess the final thought is just if you haven't checked it out, by all means, check out what we've been working on, what we've been building, and there's going to be more to come on that. Like we are constantly meeting and coming up with new ideas and shipping them and you know, that's not gonna stop. So still building.
Looking forward to it, folks. app.alto.money. Go and check it out. Gentlemen, much respect. Thank you both for joining. Always a pleasure to have you guys on, and I really think that the protocol and the community are in good hands. I see you as very much honest, intelligent, and diligent builders within the space. I truly wish you a lot of luck with Alto and where you're taking it. And I'm actually already looking forward to have you guys back on to give us some growth updates, hopefully when DUSD starts getting much bigger and starts getting some of the recognition it probably should have. And again, catch up with you guys soon. Let me just pop up one more time this week's SQUID Pass winners at Ratehopper.ai. Let me just pop it up on screen again. Ratehopper.ai. Refinance DeFi debt with AI. You can follow them on X at Ratehopper AI, the first refinancing protocol for DeFi borrowing markets built on base by the team that worked on APY Vision. You can also find find them on Telegram, and you can check the pinned posts on the Leviathan News X and the Telegram. And because I like the intro video by Arcos so much, I also use it as an outro personally. So let me send everyone off with it as well. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hope to have another show later today, by the way. So tune in. Where should people follow you guys? You, Benjamin, double M and 2 at the end, a copy named Ben on X. Jedi Fractal, and Ben _ how does it go, the name there, Jedi, on X? You're muted.
That's Jedi Fractal, one word. And then also Alto Money on X for all updates. And then my last thing is, guys, there's rewards. There's Alto up for grabs. Go mint some DUSD, go earn some yield. Seriously.
Now is the time, guys. Yeah. More reward now than later, I'm guessing.
We spilled
Usually
the
it's how it goes. Sorry, Ben, what was that?
We spilled the alpha.
Yeah.
I got one thing right, you know? I got one thing right for sure. And gentlemen, thank you so much.
Quickly,
and,
I'm about to go.
Shout out to Leviathan News.
Cheers.
Take it easy.
Bye, folks.
Bye.
Bye.
それはレバヤさんニュースだ。デセットライズだ。逃げろ。誰でも もドとできる誰でもスキルを稼げるガバナンスまである中集権のメディアはもう終わりだ
真相